Okay, so we're going to talk about video marketing today, okay, because I want all of you all to be video marketing, and that includes everybody who isn't live here today. Here's my feelings about video marketing, and it's echoed time and time and time again by every single successful person. Okay, video marketing is your closest way to having a face-to-face conversation with somebody at the other end of the world. All right, it's as simple as that. And, you know, people start to recognize you, and it's building that know, like, and trust factor. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now, it is an odd thing because it's not something that should be done from a point of view of manipulation, right? It needs to be something that's done from a point of relationship building. And if you keep that in mind, so there are many reasons for video marketing, right? One is relationship building. The other one is for establishing authority. Okay, that's another very, very important thing, you know, where you set yourself as somebody who has the kind of information that that person is wanting to hear. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, excellent. Poor Declan. All right. Okay, so yeah, so that's why video marketing is so important. But there are more reasons for that as well, and we'll go through that shortly. All right. There you go, Dec. Perseverance. See? Okay. So let's start off with the preparation. Okay. So step one. Let's think about getting ready to make your video. The number one thing that, you know, you have to keep topmost in your mind is the purpose of that video. Okay, do you want it to go on a blog? You know, think it all the way through. Think, you know, do I want the person to be clicking a button at the end of this? And, you know, you may want to do 2, 3, 4 videos where the body part of it is exactly the same, but the call to action is different. Okay, and that could be a matter of just very simply you actually doing the video and at the end doing your 2 or 3 different options, you know, click the button below or click this link or visit my website, you know, all those kind of different things. Okay, and then at the editing stage, you can actually have 3 versions or 4 versions. Use one on Facebook, use one on your blog, use one on a landing page, etc., etc. Okay, but you have to figure out before you do any video's got to be done with a purpose in mind. Okay, now you may choose to SEO that video, or if it's just a relationship building one, then you really don't have to bother about SEO. Okay, now the funny thing is with me, I actually SEO them anyway because it's so easy to do. But I'm trying to think, you know, I don't think I do that all the time. It really does depend on what I want to use the video for. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm actually only just getting back into video marketing because, of course, I've told you all this before. I've been waiting to lose weight. Okay, and of course I'm not doing that, you know, I'm just putting on more and more, so it's kind of now or never, you know, so this is the thing. Now, so number one in your mind, the purpose of your video, okay, think about it. Now, yes, I know that many people don't need to write a script or don't need to do all of that kind of thing. If you're just starting out, I would strongly suggest don't write a script, okay? Think through a script or write a script for yourself. However, when you come to actually making the video, make yourself just a little set of bullet points, okay? Pop the bullet points, you know, on the wall or just behind the camera or something of that sort so that you can actually just, you know, look at that and do it from there. Okay, it's as simple as that. You know, and put it just behind the camera so that you're not looking like you're reading, or you know, you're not looking away too often, etc. Okay, so that's what I would be. Yeah, exactly, Declan. All right, now, so that's the first thing. Now let's talk about you. Okay. Obviously, looking at every one of you all here, you're highly, highly presentable, all beautiful people. So, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. The only reason I mention that is if you look at some videos on YouTube, you know, you kind of want to smack your forehead and say, what were they thinking? All right. So one very good way of learning how to portray yourself correctly is to actually watch some of the videos on YouTube and form an opinion of which ones you think are doing the job that they're there to do and which ones aren't. Okay, so that's really important. Now, and I know every one of you will be absolutely 100% perfect when it comes to your own presentation. The one thing I would strongly suggest you do, also look around you. What is coming into your camera's view? Okay, it's always nice to set the scene. All right. Remember, you're creating, you know, you're creating an atmosphere. Okay. So, you know, I don't know. If you look at Mike's videos, right? He's got a nice little bookcase at the back. He's got a couple of nice family photographs there, a nice little house plant on the other side, some books there. You know, nice background. It's always the same background. In his case, it's establishing, what can I say, familiarity. All right. Obviously, you know, a nice place to do videos is out, I don't know, somewhere nice as well. That's always nice, in your garden, relaxing somewhere, you know, all of those kind of things. Okay. So be aware of that. Now, so that's the thing there. The second thing is, when you're talking, look directly into the camera. Okay, because what we tend to do, and this was a big problem with me, because of course, you know, you're normally used to talking to a friend. When you are recording, what you tend to do is you tend to watch yourself or whatever it is you are presenting on screen. Okay, and that can be very, very well, basically the effect that'll have is that when the other person is watching you talking back, you will be looking just under the camera, so you're not making eye contact. Okay. Now, obviously, you know, it's different in every circumstance again. Like if Betty, for example, you know, Betty, your thing would be to do how-to demos, right? You know, of how you're preparing your cakes and what goes into them, etc. So obviously, I don't expect you to be, or wouldn't recommend that, you know, you're using the food processor and kind of staring into the camera, unless it's absolutely, you know, something that's appropriate for you, yeah? So that will be really, really good. Mines are definitely against the grain then. Mines, what mine, what mines? Sonia, what you talking about? I'm sure you'll explain, bless you. But yeah, so this is the thing. Remember, you're connecting with your viewer. All right. So be you. Don't be all stiff and terrified of the camera. I love the way, again, I forget who puts it. I think it's Vic, is it? Or Mike. One of them puts it, and I'm exactly the same too. Naturally, I talk to the camera like I'm talking to my best friend. Okay, and that's how I got over my fear. I imagined that I was explaining, whatever it is that I'm explaining, or trying to do, I will always try and imagine that I'm explaining that to my best friend who is the camera. Okay, slightly weird, but, just that way really. All right. So, okay, exactly. Thanks, Betty. So you've got that there. That's you. Now, what else can I say? Yeah, you all don't need any other training about, how to present yourselves. You're all amazing. So this is the thing there. Now, regarding a camera, I just use a basic little Logitech. Oh, bless you. Sonia, listen, but okay, Sonia's comment here is, I've been making daily videos for the last 30 plus days straight after my daily walk, so I'm not at my best. But Sonia, wouldn't expect you to be after your daily walk. In that case, you're not being authentic. Okay, what you are doing is 100% authentic, so perfect. Okay, the actual feel of that is coming through, so absolutely spot on. Okay. Now, what I was thinking about is, if you're making like a training video or something of that sort, then be professional, be presentable, but I don't have to say that to you. You always are. The one thing I would say is backgrounds, your surroundings. Okay, be aware of that. You do want to present everything that you do, should automatically make the person who's wanting to, who's looking at you think, wow, I like what that person has, and not in respect of I like her bookcase or whatever, but that certain aura. Okay, I like that person's personality. I want to know more. Okay, so that's the thing. And Sonia, if it's you walking and looking all walked out kind of thing, perfect. You're conveying the message that you want to convey. Absolutely perfect. All right. Okay. Now, let's go on to cameras. And, on cameras, we could spend forever discussing cameras. But honestly, there are very simple things. I just use a very, very normal little Logitech webcam. It's not the cheapest one. It's certainly not the most expensive one either. It's just a middle-of-the-range Logitech webcam, which does most of the work. Other than that, I use a, it's a one-button flip cam, okay, because I find it easy to use. You'll know me in technology, so it needs to be kept simple. Now, the other one that I will sometimes use when I want really high-res, perfect videos is the little, video cam that we have, which it's a Sony or a, I don't know. I have no idea, but it's a lovely little handheld one with a tripod and all of that kind of professional stuff. So if I want to go that route, I use that. But for most of the regular bits, I just use the normal little webcam. All right. Of course, the only problem with the webcam is you're tied to your desk. All right. The other things, of course, are your mobile phones these days. Okay. But do remember that, don't do the Dave Sharp thing, bless him. If you hold it vertical, then you get a narrow image. If you want a widescreen image, then turn your phone on its side and take it that way. Okay. And you'll get the widescreen thing. With your mobile mobile phones or iPads, etc., the one thing you do need to be careful of is movement. Okay, it picks up on every movement. So the thing to do would be to set it on a desk or, on a table somewhere or something of that sort, and use that there. Okay. All right, Lee, not a problem at all. So that's the thing with cameras there. Now, learn to use your camera. And here's something I'll tell you as well, okay? I must have something like about 10 videos that will never see the light of day. all right, because it was just me learning to use the camera, so sticking my tongue out at it and seeing which side was it a mirror image, was it a true image, and all that kind of thing, playing around with settings and all of that. So don't feel that the very first video you shoot has to be something that you share with the public. Okay, be absolutely comfortable, just publish the video when you're happy with it. Okay, so that's the thing there. As usual, practice makes perfect. So, play around with it as often as you can, really. All right. Now, the fourth point here is very, very, very important. Okay, and I can see people getting this wrong all the time. All right. Now, the same principles apply to lighting as it does to, when you're taking a photograph. Okay, you never take a photograph where you're taking it against the light. All right. Now, the way my desk and everything is set up here, unfortunately, I have a window that's great big picture window that's just behind me. Okay. Now, so therefore, what I have to do, I have to make sure that I have lighting behind the camera to compensate for that. Otherwise, I'm just a silhouette, So I'd either draw the curtains or wait for night, and I get a nice clear picture then. And what I do is I have the webcam on my laptop, and then I have got two diffuser lights. They're just table lights. They're just table lights with diffuser lampshades, okay? And I put them on either side of the laptop, just behind. If you draw a line with the lens of the camera, I put it just behind the lens of the camera on either side of my laptop, so that it doesn't interfere with the actual working of the camera itself. Okay, and that way, that lights my face while I'm chatting. Okay, so that's a really important thing as well. Okay, make sure your lighting is all right. Once again, play around with the settings, brightness, contrast, white balance, and all of that kind of thing. Play around with all of that, color saturation, etc. You'll find it all in your settings there, and you'll see all the changes, and then choose something that suits you really. All right. And the thing is, depending on the lighting outside, you may need to change that every time you shoot a video. Okay. Obviously, when you're making a video, you have a number of different options. Sonia, you're very welcome. Isn't that so? See, it's such a simple thing, but if Dave Sharp hadn't done it, and if Dave Wood hadn't made a big thing about it, I would never have known that either. So, yeah, exactly. So there you go. Exactly, Betty. This is the thing. Betty's saying here, and Betty, you can actually pop it into public chat as well. They're a friendly bunch here. Betty's saying, I will start to practice from tomorrow. I never thought of this before. Sounds very interesting. Betty, you will expand your business so much with videos. It'll be absolutely amazing. Sonia said she was wondering why she was getting so squashed. There you go. See? Okay, so let's talk about your options from, when you're thinking of how to make your videos or what to make your videos with. Okay, first of all, it could be just you talking into the camera. All right, that's something that I tend to do a lot. Again, building that rapport, building that relationship with my audience. Okay, so that's my first preference, if you like. However, the other thing that I also use very often is screen capture. Okay, so when I'm doing a how-to video, I'll talk somebody through it and I'll capture the screen. Okay, so they've got the screen, they've got the how-to bit, and they've got my voice over it. Okay, so they never see me, which is absolutely brilliant for the days when I've just been doing some gardening and every hair is standing on end, and I've just had a thought and I want to do something, fly in and do it that way, and what you can do to build relationship in that respect as well, and I'll show you this tomorrow. When you're rendering your video, you can actually place a watermark of yourself in one corner, so that when the person's listening to your voice, they're always seeing a little image of you in the corner as well. Okay, so that's always, a nice way to stay in contact as well. Okay, so that's screen capture. The other one is PowerPoint presentations, a bit like I'm doing here. So you can have that running, okay, and, you're capturing that as you go along. And then there's Animoto. And Animoto is, you can do all sorts of things with Animoto. It's actually animoto.com, I think. And, you can do little, little cartoons, or you can put together a whole lot of images and music and, all of that. I actually wouldn't recommend Animoto. It's very... it's non-relational, okay. It has its place, I guess, but I can't think of one, okay. But I'm just popping it in here in case you find, something that you want to use it with, okay. But it's just very sterile, okay. There's no relationship building factor there, and, but try it and see. You might want to put together, a group of pictures of your last holiday or your family or something of that sort, and Animoto will come in useful for that kind of thing. Okay. So next, software to use. Now, I use Camtasia. I also use Windows Movie Maker. Let me start at the top. Screencast-O-Matic is $15 for the year. Okay, there is a free version, but I think you end up having little adverts on it. Okay, and this is good for capturing your screen. Okay, if you pay, I think, $15 a year, you get, the pro version of it. Okay, and I think it's screencast-o-matic.com. All right, so that's a really, really good little tool there. Jing, and that you get Jing from techsmith.com. Jing is an absolutely amazing little tool when you want to do just like a little 5-minute video. Okay, but I always keep Jing on my desktop because it allows me to capture images that I can then use elsewhere and all that kind of thing. Okay, if we have time at the end of today, I'll show you that. If not, I'll show you when we do it next week, or I'll just do a little Jing video of a Jing video. Okay, and then you can look at it from there. Camtasia is quite expensive, but, once you've bought it, you've bought it. But honestly, if I'd known about Screencast-O-Matic first, I never would have bought Camtasia. Okay, it's as simple as that. The thing is now, because I'm so accustomed to using it, and in Camtasia you can do picture-in-picture, so pip clips, where I can be doing a screencast, but because the camera is also taking a picture of, videoing me, I can have that in the corner so that you've seen them around, haven't you, where both things go on, yeah? So you can do that with Camtasia, which you can't with Screencast-O-Matic. Well, the last time I looked at it, you couldn't. Maybe you can now, I don't know. And then Windows Movie Maker actually comes free with any Windows program. Okay, and that's a brilliant way because you can do all sorts of things, titles and subtitles and, all sorts of effects and that kind of thing. So I like that as well. All right, so there are all of those things. There's just countless ones, but I'm just giving you the top, dependable ones. Okay. There you go, Betty. Betty, I tell you, this is a whole new world opening up for you here. There you go. It's so interesting, I tell you. And you know, I'm thinking of Louise with her furniture business. Betty with your cake, with your cake stuff. There's just endless things, you know, to do this with. Adrian, you're getting into training. You know, this is absolutely perfect for you. So absolutely brilliant there. Now, okay, did I finish all of this? Yeah, I did. Okay. Now, so that's the method, okay, so far. So the only way you are going to learn is by actually doing it and learning. It's as simple as that. Okay, nothing else is going to make it happen for you. You've literally just got to play around. Okay, have fun. If you look at some of my initial videos, actually Jamie has actually captured a few of them because he laughs so hard when he sees my attempts at making these that he thinks they are, you know, absolutely prized things. So he's kind of stored it on his family album kind of thing. So, you know, just be prepared to just have a lot of fun with it and get utterly comfortable. Okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of people have problems with is thinking that they have to get everything said all at one go without making any mistakes. Okay. You know, once you are confident enough and you're passionate about what you're sharing, you will get to that stage. Okay. However, I tend to stop and start a lot. Okay. And I tend to say rather a lot as well. Now, you see what I mean? Now, sometimes it doesn't matter. And, you know, perhaps I get too hung up on being as perfect as possible. I mean, I look at the likes of Alex Zubarev. I can never pronounce his name, and so many of the others where, and David Wood, for example, David Wood goes, and Alex Zubarev, he's just all the time, and it doesn't seem to affect their performance. However, I haven't got past that point as yet of wanting to, you know, my video to be flowing nicely. So don't worry about it, okay? The thing to do is to let your video continue rolling, even if you've made a mistake. Stop yourself. Think, okay, what action was I doing when I was last at that point where I was okay? And then resume from there. Okay, and next week I will show you how to edit out the bits that you don't want without appearing all jerky and all of that. Okay, and because I like editing and because I'm good at it, I tend to feel a lot more comfortable because I know if I make a mistake, I can just carry on. I don't have to do a fresh take every time I make a mistake. Okay, I just kind of bomb my way through and then clip out all the bits I don't want. Okay. So we've talked about all of that. Now, let's talk about why videos are so important. Okay. First of all, a video that you put onto YouTube will bring traffic to whatever it is that you're wanting to bring it to. Okay. YouTube, as it says here, is the world's second biggest search engine. Also, don't forget it's owned by Google. Okay, so Google favors YouTube. I don't know if you know, and actually I don't know if I've actually mentioned it here, but Google reserves spaces on its first page for YouTube results. Okay, so let's say, here's what happens. Okay, so the first page of a Google results has 10 results on it. Say your YouTube video, the keywords, etc., actually doesn't place it on the first page, places it somewhere on, you know, the middle of the second page, etc. If, however, you are the best among all the YouTube videos that have been submitted for that particular keyword, Google will actually take your video and pop it onto the very first page of results. Okay, so how cool is that to know? Okay, so of course, it's a huge untapped traffic source, but next week when I'm talking with you, I will explain to you the difference between using it for traffic and using it on your blog. Okay. Now, YouTube gets over 30 million visitors per day. Can you believe it? I find that really difficult to believe, but that's what happens. Okay, so now Google tends to use video results for these types of keywords. How-to keywords, so how to write a blog, how to bake a cake, okay, how to decorate a wedding cake, how to, choose the best furniture for your bedroom and that kind of thing. Reviews, Bluehost reviews, iPads reviews, things of that sort. Tutorials, anything fitness or sports related. I've got planking because that's one thing that I don't think I'll ever be able to do. But Sonia, here's where your videos will actually rank for you. Funny videos, cute animals, cute babies, all that kind of thing. Okay, so these are what Google tends to favor. All right. Now, according to the keyword that you're using, choose the category accordingly. Okay. Now, how to make your video. All right, step 2. Keep it looking smart. Give real value. Okay, that's so important. Again, depends on what you're doing. If you're just relationship building, you could actually be perfectly okay saying, I remember Arnold did some, or Henry did a couple of videos when he was off on holiday somewhere, and he was actually showing the different shops that he was visiting. And those were so amazing because here's the thing, much of our marketing is done in the States, and of course people there are fascinated by anything to do with England, so keep that in mind. And if you're doing that, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to, think of SEO or any of that, to be honest, but there you go, all right? So otherwise, if depending on what it is, give real value if you're talking about how-tos, okay? Be relaxed, so you're creating a welcoming atmosphere, rather than kind of showing them you're uncomfortable. Okay, that makes them uncomfortable in that case. So be relaxed. And as I say, talk directly to your best friend. So look into the camera lens when you're talking. Okay, obviously don't stare, Don't say, Marion said I have to look into the camera lens, but you know what I mean, right? Be absolutely natural, just like you're talking to your best friend. Okay. On Animoto. Right, so a few more tips here about videos. The longer videos rank better, okay, because obviously it's picking up on content, okay. So depending again on what you're using your video for, if you're thinking of using your video to attract traffic, then yes, it needs to be at least 5 minutes long. Okay, if, however, obviously you're making your video for a lead capture page, etc., then you're talking about 1-2 minutes max. Okay, if you're doing a how-to video, as long as it takes, basically. All right, with a how-to video, a brilliant way of getting, of maximizing your traffic is to actually break it down into steps. Okay, step 1 of 4, step 2 or 4, and then you can take them through the whole process of whatever it is you're doing, okay? So the other way, like I said, would be to make a nice slideshow in PowerPoint and record your voice over it if you wanted to. And if you're using the video to do a review, use the product in your video. So next one, remember to make a professional value-packed video, as I said. Number one, it helps your conversion rate, okay, because the more value you give, the more people are going to relate to you. But also, a large portion of YouTube SEO is based on user interaction. So people giving you likes and leaving comments, good or bad. Okay, believe it or not, good or bad is actually good. All right, so don't worry too much about that. So that's that there. Now, and this I will go through with you again next week when we're doing all the rendering and actually uploading, etc. So you'll see a practical version of how this happens. Okay, so make sure that you use your keywords in the video file name. So if, for example, you're doing a Mobi review, you know, if you wanted to rank for something like Mobi review, that's what you'd say there, Mobi review, and then you'd want to make your video name, you know, when you're saving it, you'd want to call it that. So your raw file, you will call the same name as the name that you wanted to go out with. Okay, and there's no need to repeat the keyword multiple times, etc. As long as the keyword actually appears once in the file name, you're okay. All right. That's there. Step 3, upload your video again, you know, with search engine optimization in mind again. Okay, so your title, make a long title so that you can include your full keyword without keyword stuffing. Okay, so don't, you know, some people say make sure your keywords at the beginning of the sentence and again in the middle, and it gets ridiculous, and then, you know, it really doesn't look good then. Okay, now, another tip, exactly like if you're writing a blog, okay, to get a slight edge, really, put your keyword at the beginning of the title. Okay. Nice example here, and I actually grabbed this. I was, you know, researching just before the webinar as well, because I wanted to make sure that my knowledge was current, and nothing much has changed in the world of video marketing, but this was a very useful little hint here. If you're trying to rank for surfing tutorial or, you know, how to keep fit or something of that sort, you'd want a title like surfing tutorial, learn how to ride a wave today. You know, make it catchy, make it something that makes the person want to click. Okay. Now, your description. This, oh, it says that here. I was going to say, this is very, very important. That's exactly what it says there. You know, this is slightly different now because in YouTube, you can actually click a button that says transcribe, and it actually transcribes your video. I would recommend you go in and edit it because, you know, depending on your accent, sometimes it gets things completely incorrect. You know, it's a bit like automatic text messaging. What do they call that stuff, you know, where it corrects things automatically. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. But again, your text description, okay, should be very clear about what your video is about, using your keyword and all of that kind of thing. All right, but also you can use that transcribe process and add to it in that way. Okay. Now, here are the basic guidelines for your description. Put your link at the very top of the video. Okay, include your keyword in the first 25 words, right? Make the description at least 350 words. Include your keyword 3 or 4 times, you know, in the whole course of that. And basically what that helps happen is that Google and YouTube know what your video is about and therefore can serve it up when somebody's searching for that option. Okay, so that's really, really important there. Now, this bit here that I typed in, put your link at the very top of the video, I didn't mean video, I actually meant at the very top of the description. Okay, so you'd actually open up with your clickable link. Okay, so your HTTP link. All right, make sure you don't, like I used to make a big mistake. I would put the link and then I put a colon straight after the end of it. But of course, that was then considering the colon to be part of the link, and it was wrong. Okay, it wasn't taking them anywhere. So put your link in, put a space, then put a hyphen in, put a space, and then the rest of your description. Okay, we'll go through the practicalities next week. All right, tags. Just include a few keywords to help YouTube and Google learn what your video is about. I actually tag all my videos with my name as well. Okay, whether they've got anything to do with me or not, my name is in there. Okay, simple as that. Now, then the category, you know, it isn't terribly important, but do choose something that is relevant to what you're doing. So if it's how-to and style, then definitely choose that. If it's educational, but then try and keep your video. So every time you do a how-to video, put it under how-to. Every time you do, a review, put it under review and that kind of thing. Okay, so just be consistent there. Okay, and once you're done, literally, you click Save Changes, and that's it. You're all set to go. Okay, we'll do a live one next week. Getting video views, we're getting a little bit advanced here now, and again, I'll go through this with you next week as well. Actually, I don't know. Maybe we'll. Okay, this is just the penultimate slide. So, we'll just finish this off. Okay. Now, the number one ranking factor for YouTube search engine is the number of views a video gets. Okay, obviously the more views, the higher it ranks, but there used to be a thing where you could go off to Fiverr and you could buy 10,000 views for $5. Okay, YouTube will now actually shut you down for doing things like that. Okay, you lose your channel for doing stuff like that. So don't use Fiverr or any of those. Okay, there is a way, and I'll come to that in the next slide actually. Basically, you need a real person to be watching your video, and the longer they watch it, the higher your video will rank in YouTube. Okay, so this is if you're wanting to drive traffic. Okay, if you're not bothered about traffic, you're just wanting to make a video to just pop on your blog for whatever reason, then you don't need to worry about all of this. Okay. Now, the very last slide here for you, there is a YouTube service, a viewing service that you can get to get real human views. Okay, I just picked up on this information. I will get you the name of that thing. But you can also use microworkers.com or Amazon Mechanical Turk, whatever that is. Okay, you can use those. Okay, to do all of that there. Now, whichever service you use, make sure that you're stipulating that those people watch at least 40% of your video. Okay, specify that because the bounce rate or the viewer retention rate is really, really big for ranking in YouTube internal search engines. All right, so that's really important there. Also make sure you get some likes, favorites, and comments there as well. And as Declan's saying, if you belong to a syndication group, that could do the trick there, or if you've got a lot of friends and family and things on your Facebook page, just say to them, can you go like this, please? Simple as that. Go comment and like kind of thing. Okay. So that's it there. And basically, what that does is it makes your video look like it's getting a lot of user interaction. And to be honest, positive, of course, is good, but it doesn't have to be positive. As long as you're not getting, somebody kind of taking so much offense that they actually report you, you're okay. All right. Now, on that note, I will say also, don't use domain names, okay, like Empower Network, Internet Traffic Formula. Don't use things like that. Keep in mind Vic's teaching about creating your own funnels, calling things your own names, giving it a sexy name, as he says, bless his heart, so that you're not losing your channel. Okay, because, you know, all of these places, whenever they see something like that, they start to kind of think, oh no. And also it could be that there are people that are misusing it and abusing it, and therefore it gets, you know, everybody banned kind of thing. And just the sheer volume of people using those words could trigger off alarms, really. So best to not use those words in your YouTube descriptions. I freely use them in my Vimeo hosting service, but I don't use them in YouTube. Okay, well, as far as I can remember. Okay. Excellent, Declan. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Brilliant. See, this is the kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Declan, could you also pop those into the Facebook group on today's training? Actually, hold on to that information, Dec. I'll post this in there as video training, and then if you could pop those two links in there and that information in there as well, that would be absolutely brilliant, yeah? If you don't mind, please. Now, all right, everyone. I hope you got some value out of that. I will pop the recording into our group as soon as possible. You're very welcome, Betty. I'll pop it in there. You know, go through it again if you have to, but most of you all here are stars when it comes to that anyway. All right, so you will be fine. Arnold, I know Arnold's got a plan, so that's great. Betty, every time I say Arnold, I mean Henry, if that's confusing you. Oh, brilliant, Sonia. I'm so happy about that. Good, good. You're all doing absolutely amazingly well. Just start implementing. You know, for those of you all who haven't done that as yet, start implementing. Now is the time. I'm losing my voice, much to Jamie's pleasure. But there you go. All right, everyone. Take care. Good night, and see you all soon. Have a wonderful time. Take care. Bye, all.